I think high school kids are vicious.
And just walking down a hallway, you could hear people saying, faggot, flamer, fag,
faggot, muff diver,
queer, queen, fairy. And that's a menacing thing to hear when you're walking between classes, to hear someone yelling out derogatory terms for you, just left and right, like they're meaningless.
I think it's a question about, how much you try to stand out.
Faggot, flamer, homo would be another one.
I think those who really forced their orientation on other people and walked around saying, I'm gay and you better be okay with it, tended to have a harder time.
If they're able to force their identity, they should be able to stick up for themselves to some degree. The people who get assaulted in middle school primarily, or high school, I think are the shy ones.
Nobody would question that about home. You should feel comfortable at home. Well, kids spend 6.5 hours a day here. This is the place they spend more time other than their own home. They shouldn't have to come here and feel uncomfortable.
Somewhat unraveled, he never really looked me in the eye. If you want to know the truth about my life, it's a sham, it's a sham, it's a sham, it's a sham. If you want to know the truth about my life, it's a sham, it's a sham, it's a sham.
The Safe Schools Program for Gay and Lesbian Students was an outgrowth of work done by the Governor's Commission on Gay and Lesbian Youth, which was formed in 1992. It was a commission that was formed by then Governor William Weld in Massachusetts to look at issues such as youth suicide and see what the climate was like for gay, lesbian, and bisexual youth in schools.
If you have a student who's being harassed so pervasively by administrators, by staff, by peers, so that they're not able to get the education they deserve, it's at least a clear shot to say that law is being violated. And there is a way that individuals can bring a lawsuit seeking monetary damages. And monetary damages are not necessarily the goal. The goal, every single family I've talked to says the goal is to have this behavior stop.
And the concern of a parent for their child is, of course, their safety, but also their happiness. And I just felt that Matt would never find sublime happiness in a society that always discriminated against who he was for what he was. I thought there would be discrimination in a job market and a housing market and just among new people he would meet, that he would never really feel truly happy. I've since learned that that was a fear I shouldn't really have had, that there are, that just as in any community, there are those who are and those who aren't. And that wouldn't have been something I needed to consider just because he was gay.
I don't think that there's enough people in my school, saying that's not okay to say that's so gay. There's not enough people reporting these simple little instances because they're not simple.
Kids, any kids who are victimized in school by being threatened or who feel that they're not safe enough to even attend school are far more likely to be suicidal than kids who are not victimized. The issue with gay, lesbian, and bisexual kids is they're likely to be victimized so much more often.
In high school, basically people running the show, the superintendents and the school board or whatever, are so afraid to talk about anything that's taboo, whether it's sex in general, homosexuality, and drugs, whatever. They're so afraid to branch out and talk about important things like that.
There are still a lot of communities, the African American, the Latino, the Asian community, are still very much closeted communities.
And it's good not to be homophobic, but if you're not active in the closet, it doesn't really do much.
It's still looked upon as a white male thing.
I just so firmly believe, and I have so much evidence, like anecdotal evidence from the stories that I hear as I travel around the country, that people being visible, not just people who are in the public eye like myself, but people being visible in their own lives, that's one of the major steps in making a difference in people's acceptance and people's awareness, people getting beyond their prejudices and stereotypes.